This is KGW News at noon.
Today, Portland Public School students are back in the classroom. This is video from Woodlawn Elementary, but schools across the district resumed this morning with a 2-hour late start. This is the first time students have been back in the classroom since Halloween. Thank you for joining us here at noon. I'm Christine Pitawanich. The announcement was a big one. It came in last night that the district announced it had reached a tentative deal with the teachers union. Reporter Devin Haskins is out at Woodlawn Elementary for us in Northeast Portland. Devin, you were there as students came back. So what was that whole atmosphere like?
Yeah, it almost felt like the first day of school again. You get the teachers standing outside greeting the students as they came back to school. You have parents dropping off their kids, giving them hugs goodbye. 11 days of missed instruction, and school today was back in session. So we went inside Woodlawn Elementary School, and we were inside one of the 4th grade classrooms, and they made up for lost time. Students gave a recap on what they did over their extended break, with some saying they missed school. Teachers back in the classroom with a new tentative contract that they still need to ratify. So what's new for them? First, an almost 14% pay raise over the next 3 years. Teachers at all levels get an extra 90 minutes a week of more planning time. Now they bring that total to almost 7 hours a week. And classroom sizes was another sticking point. And while no hard caps were put in place, the two sides did agree on some new thresholds that would help alleviate the overcrowding in classrooms. Outside Woodlawn, as parents were dropping off their kids, we did catch up with a few of them about how this strike impacted their families.
It was really hard. Yeah, I mean, we had some childcare, but it was a 2-hour drive for 4 hours of childcare. So, yeah, couldn't get a lot of work done. Got very, very behind.
And I mostly am concerned too because he's in a challenging class with 27 students, and so it took a long time for the teacher just to get the class to a place where they could start learning, and now I feel like they'll be starting over again.
That parent there talking about her kindergartner that had just started school at the beginning of the year, only to be off for that month or the 3 weeks or whatever during the strike. So this contract still needs to be voted on by the teachers. That'll happen tomorrow. As part of this contract, the teachers will get paid retro pay. They'll also be, they won't lose their benefits next month, as was originally reported. Back to you.
Okay, Devin, live for us at Woodlawn Elementary in Northeast Portland. Thank you. So overall, as you heard Devin talk about, Portland students missed a total of 11 school days because of that strike. Here's a look at how those days will be made up. First, winter break will get shortened. Instead of being off, students will now be in school the week of December 18th through the 22nd. The remaining 6 days will be made up throughout the year, with an extra day added in January, February, and April, and 3 days tacked on to the end of the school year in June. The last day of school for Portland students will now be June 14th. The teachers union and the school board are expected to vote on the new tentative agreement tomorrow, so stay with us. We will have the results of that vote both online at kgw.com and streaming on KGW+. Now to Tualatin, where one person is dead after a crash involving a school bus and a motorcycle. The Washington County Sheriff's Office says it happened around 7:15 this morning on Southwest 65th Avenue between Southwest Robbins Road and Southwest Sagert Road. They say the motorcycle driver died, but the 2 children on the Westland Wilsonville School District bus and the driver were not hurt. If you have any information about the crash, the Washington County Sheriff's Office wants you to call their non-emergency number. You can see it hopefully here soon at the bottom of your screen. There it is, 503-629-0111. Meantime, Vancouver police asking for your help to find this missing woman. Her name is Heather Boyer. Police say she walked away from her home in Vancouver at some point yesterday and has not been seen since. She also has a medical condition, and we're told she does not have her daily medication with her. So if you see her, call 311. Well, Thanksgiving has come and gone, meaning a lot of people passed through PDX and are now back home. As Thomas Schultz reports, people's airport experiences were varied. Some breezed right through, while others barely caught their flights.
Now, over the Thanksgiving holiday, PDX has seen around 250,000 travelers come through the airport, though despite big crowds, many say travel has been relatively stress-free. As planes landed, many people left the airport surprised.
This is probably one of the easier holidays I've flown out.
Kyle Pointer and his young daughter just got back from Austin, Texas, where the airport was
Packed, like the security line TSA line was out the door and just zigzagging everywhere. It was crazy.
Though once they boarded, everything went on without a hitch.
It means quite a bit, especially when dealing with little ones and kids. It means a lot to be able to just, have a smooth go of it.
Others had similar trips.
I mean, it's definitely more relaxed than I was expecting.
Tao Vu and Meher Boparai are med students at Western University of Health Sciences. They were ready for the worst.
I was scared because I thought there'd be a lot more delays and I thought it'd be crazier in terms of security, but it was super fun.
On Sunday, PDX saw few delays and cancellations. Still, some had rockier travel.
It was a little uncomfortable.
Ian Pantoa nearly missed his Wednesday flight going home to San Francisco.
Because when I was coming to the Bay Area for Thanksgiving, I was in TSA for at least 45 minutes.
Another issue, he got to PDX just 45 minutes before his flight boarded. The airport advised people to get here 2.5 hours before domestic flights over the holidays. Though on the way back to Portland Sunday,
My flight was at 8 a.m. and I got there at 6 a.m.
leading to a more relaxing flight. And after serene travel for many in the most hectic of seasons, many are
Just happy to be home.
55,000 PDX travelers heading home with a smile on their face. At PDX, Thomas Schultz, KGW News.
Yeah, glad it wasn't too much of a headache for a lot of people. And it is nice and clear out today, but a heads up for hikers looking to head up to Larch Mountain. Upper Larch Mountain Road officially closed for the season at 8:30 this morning. Every year around this time, Multnomah County closes the upper portion of the road so people won't try to drive up. It also cuts down on snow removal costs. To see when the road is scheduled to reopen, you can always check the county's website in the spring. So that top part of the road on Larch Mountain may be closed, but no reason to not take a walk outside. It's so nice out.
It is gorgeous out there, right? After a very crisp morning. And Christina wanted to start with that. Our fourth consecutive morning with temperatures at or below freezing in Portland. In fact, check this out. Vancouver started the morning at Pearson Field, right next to the Interstate Bridge at 23 degrees. That is cold. 28 in Portland, 25 in Aurora. The big picture across the state. It was even colder across eastern Oregon. Burns woke up to 6 degrees this morning. All right, from that to this, the live look now from downtown Portland, our Wells Fargo camera, bopping in the breeze just a bit. We're up to 48 degrees, and I wanted to point that out. Well, unfortunately, I think I'm covering the flags in the Fremont Bridge, but they are snapping. Right now, east-southeast winds sustained at PDX at 15, but certainly some higher gusts as the temperatures have come up now. We're 46 last check in Hillsborough, 32 in Hood River, 35 in the Dalles, 43 right now in Bend. And as we mentioned, the wind, one of the other stories, not everybody is feeling that east breeze, but boy, if you are, it is stiff. Right now, sustained winds in Troutdale out of the east at 29 miles an hour. Crown Point, right up at the top of the gorge there, had a peak wind gust of 72 miles an hour earlier this morning, and it's still howling there. So breezy for some of us, sunny for all of us. Temperatures inching towards 50 today. Of course, sun sets at 4:30, so they will plummet. Temperatures will pretty quickly. I've got us down in the lower 40s by 6 o'clock. And Christina, I think we are back down below the freezing mark again tomorrow morning. A dry stretch of weather comes to an end as we get towards the latter part of our 7-day forecast. And then we go back to wet and maybe really wet. More on that coming up in just a bit.
Yeah, throw a jacket on, that's for sure. Thanks, Chris. Now to the Middle East, where today is day 4 of the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. According to a spokesperson for the Pentagon, Hamas is expected to release another 20 women and children during the pause in fighting. This comes after 17 hostages were released yesterday in exchange for the release of 39 Palestinian children being held in Israel. Israel said that it is willing to extend the ceasefire by 1 day for every 10 prisoners released. NBC's David Noriega is in Tel Aviv with the details.
Today is day 4 of the ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas. It is scheduled to be the final day of that agreement, although it is stipulated that it can be extended day by day into the coming days. We have seen over the last 3 days groups of Israeli hostages released from the Gaza Strip, plus additional foreign national hostages released outside of the framework of the agreement, and in return, Palestinian prisoners released from Israeli military jails in the occupied West Bank. What we have heard from medical authorities in Israel is that the health condition of most of those hostages released from Israel is generally stable and good. There are currently talks ongoing to potentially extend the ceasefire day by day in the coming week. Egypt, Qatar, and the United States are involved in mediating those talks between Israel and Hamas. Hamas itself has indicated its desire to see the ceasefire extended. Israel has indicated its willingness to see the ceasefire extended, but has also indicated that it intends for the ceasefire to be temporary and it intends to continue its military operations in the Gaza Strip once the ceasefire is suspended. During the pause in hostilities, several aid trucks have been allowed to enter the Gaza Strip and, importantly, have been allowed to distribute that aid into the entirety of the Gaza Strip, including the north, where the worst of the devastation and destruction has taken place. Among the Israeli hostages released just yesterday was Abigail Idan, a 4-year-old American girl who turned 4 years old on Friday, the first day of the ceasefire agreement. What we have heard from hospitals in Israel is that her condition, along with the condition of all the other children released yesterday on day 3 of the ceasefire agreement, is stable. In Tel Aviv, David Noriega, NBC News.
And less than 2 hours ago, NBC reported 11 hostages are expected to be released in exchange for 33 Palestinian prisoners later today. The Commission for Palestinian Prisoners says 30 of those prisoners are children.